This is called a sawbuck, and it's a very useful tool for around camp because it allows you to very easily cut up your firewood. You don't have to bend down, and it's a very designated area to do so. I'm going to show you some more specifics about this in a second, but as you can see, it's just a big log, 4 legs, 4 uprights. And then what I do is mark different sections on this log depending on what stove I have at that camp. In this case, I'm at my yurt camp, so I know how long the wood can be for my stove. I just eyeball it up, and then I use these uprights to hold the wood in place while I cut. It's built to my size, so it's very easy. I can just keep sliding this down in order to cut the wood. What I also did was flatten off this back side, because at that point then I can hang up my bow saw, get out my axe, and use it as a nice flat work area to be able to carve or shape any type of wood. So they're very useful tools. The downfall with something like this sawbuck is you're going to need to carry some type of auger into camp, which isn't always an issue. You can get a small auger bit and you can make it into an actual hand auger once you get into camp, or if you have a bit and brace, you can bring that in and it will work really well. So 4 holes, 6 if you want to really get fancy with it. And the reason I say 6 is because we can add more of these uprights for shorter pieces of wood. You can see when I get to this point, I'm almost just holding and balancing this. If there were 2 more uprights here, it would just help out a little bit more. So right here we have about an 8 to 10 inch log, drilled 2 holes in and included 2 uprights. And again, this will hold our workpiece in here. If it was even a bigger log, it will bind up in there and not move at all. You can put, again, 2 more pieces here, and then I have 2 back pieces to help stabilize that wood that's a little bit longer. In this section you can see some saw marks, and that's because I do a lot of sawing on this. But I know that on this back side there's a large deeper notch, which is right here, and that is the length wood that I would use for my yurt stove. So it works out really well that way. Measure, slide, and cut. Very quick and easy. And the last thing I did was took my axe on that log and smoothed this out. Now this feature is absolutely great on something like this because you can do a lot of work in this small area and you have yourself a carving area, and I always like that. You can see how much I actually use this. So it's a very versatile piece of camp equipment to have. That's it. That's a sawbuck. If you've never seen one, definitely a very useful thing to have around your camp. It doesn't take much to do. Auger bit, axe, log, couple sticks, and you're good to go. If you're really close somewhere and you can take a power drill, of course you can always just power drill that out, but don't tell anybody, just use your auger bit. A very simple field expedient way of making a sawbuck is to make a simple tripod. The legs of the tripod up to about your belly button, because when you open it up, it's going to be at the right level to have a comfortable sawing position. You can then saw, drag your wood up the tripod, reset it, and begin to saw again. This is going to save back pain, getting your knees all soaking wet from kneeling down during winter time and in wet conditions in the summer, and it's going to make your life more enjoyable around camp. So 10 minutes worth of work to make a tripod, enjoyable the rest of the camp. This was Dan Wolek of Cold Cracker Bushcraft. Stay in the woods.